Good day everybody, Johan Swart from the Boerboel Academy, place where we talk Boerboels and we talk facts. Facts without nonsense, facts without any economic or breeder protection or whatever, just the real straight facts. Now, I'm going to issue this video in a rather unedited format. Most of my videos we don't edit much in any case, but we at least put a front page and something at the back. Because I'm stepping into a huge fight which has suddenly erupted again about the black Boerboels. Now, I want to answer a couple of things and allegations that are being made. First of all, there's a young lady that went onto the groups. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed onto these groups anymore. You know, if you know too much, it's uncomfortable. So I'm not allowed on there, but I have many friends who are, and they just copy and they send me the information that is posted on there. Now this specific lady is defending the breeding of black dogs, and she actually quotes a couple of dogs in the history, and she said, but if these dogs were allowed, why can't we crossbreed with the black dogs or use the black dogs, you know, admitting actually that the dogs were crossbred. Now let's go back. She gives me credit for saying that one of the dogs that features a lot in many pedigrees, a dog called Zanta Boston 1, was a crossbreed with a pit bull. I did not say that. What I did tell the specific lady is I did tell her that the Pit Bull Federation approached the SABT at that stage and informed the SABT that there was possible crossbreeding by this specific breeder who used to breed pit bulls and Boerboels and was registered with the Pit Bull Federation and the Boerboels, that he was registering litters, in certain instances half the litter with the pit bulls, half the litter with Boerboels, depending on how they looked. The SABT did nothing about it. Right, it was reported, but it died a death. What I did say is that IBASA, of who I was the chairman at that stage, did an investigation into this breeder, because we found on our database, which was much more advanced than the SABT database at that stage, that the birth dates of this guy's dogs were improbable. You know, you would have a female that would have a litter, and 3 months later she has another litter. Or one female has like 4 litters in 1 year. Now that was not picked up on the SABT side. It went through the database, and we drew up a list. We searched and we went through all the registered litters that we could find, and we identified every single litter with an improbable birth date, or improbable sire, or improbable dam. Improbable sire is very difficult because a male dog can make many dogs, many female dogs, one after the other, but impossible for females to carry 2 litters at the same time. Right, so we identified all those dogs and we submitted that list to the SABT. I still have a copy of that letter, and I think I have admission that it was received, but nothing was ever done about it. During those days, the owner of Zanta Boston 1 was the chairman of the SABT. And he, at one of the meetings, asked me pertinently, Johan, is my dog on that list that you submitted? And I said, yes. Here is the list again. And I sent it to him in person to check again. Okay, nothing happened. Now this lady, she said, yeah, but that dog, everybody must watch out, because she's trying to cause a stir, because this dog is in so many people's pedigrees. You know, now everybody will be scared that what happens to their dog, and we'll get a flood of sentiment to go for the crossbreeding concept. No. Crossbreeding is wrong. Crossbreeding is wrong. Right. Okay, now let's go the other dogs that she mentioned. She mentioned a dog called Zanta Boston, and she said, oh, this dog was probably crossbred. No. This lady heard a rumor. Zanta Boston was a dog that was around before she was a breeder. Zanta Boston, I know the situation of Zanta Boston very well, because I was part of the committee that investigated why this dog had to be registered. What happened? This dog was essentially an Isterberg dog. On the register, when the Zanta breeder submitted the dog for registration, the dam was not registered. The dam was not unknown. The dam was an Isterberg dog bred by Klaas van Waferen. The dog was given to a vet in exchange for some services or something, and something went sour between Klaas and the vet, and Klaas never registered the dog. So in a meeting we asked Klaas, did you breed that dog? And he said yes. Why didn't you register it? And he gave his reasons why he didn't register it, but it had nothing to do with crossbreeding. It had nothing to do with anything onwards. It was simply a matter of a dispute between him and the owner of the dog, and that dog was never registered. So let's step off that one. Zanta Boston's mother was registered. He was registered with an unknown mother after interviews by the boards of the various associations with Mr. van Walferen, in which he confirmed that yes, he bred the dog, but he was not going to register it. And for those of you that knew Klaas, when he said, I'm not going to register it, he was not going to register it. There was no stories or nonsense about that guy. Right, the third dog mentioned is a dog called Avalonia Ruler, or Moser Oliver Twist. Now, I personally knew Oliver Twist very well. I personally even used him. And after I used the dog, one of the breeders in the Netherlands came up with pictures and said, you know what, this dog looks suspiciously a lot like a dog called Avalonia Ruler. And she sent me a picture of this dog called Avalonia Ruler. And I must admit, the dog had basically the same markings on the chest of Avalonia Ruler and Moser Oliver Twist. And interestingly enough, Moser Oliver Twist was bought from Avalonia, from the breeder Koenraad van Niekerk or something, was bought from that breeder by Moser Kennels. Now, Moser Kennels in years later morphed and became Eysterberg Mastiffs. Eysterberg Mastiffs. Now, how did that happen? It was initially a kennel called Moser Boerboels. When Mr. van Walferen was alive, when Mr. van Walferen was very sick and he died, he was very old. It became Moser Eysterberg. And then conveniently the Moser fell away and it became Eysterberg. And then it became Eysterberg Mastiffs, no longer Boerboels. Right. Okay, now, was there any paper swapping there? You know, if you have a dog that dies and you have his papers and you have another dog of the same age, those were in the days before DNA testing. Maybe. I don't know, it was never proven. It was alleged, but it was never proven. There was no discussion of crossbreeding. There was nothing about crossbreeding in that. So to use that as an example of crossbreeding and why black dogs should be accepted now is ridiculous. It doesn't work that way. That dog was, doesn't matter if his name was Oliver Twist or Avalonia Ruler, it was a bloody good dog. And it was purebred. And it bred some excellent dogs. So let's step off that one. Yes. Then the same aggrieved person says that, but you know, years ago, all the dogs used to run around on the farmyard, and it's possible that a male and a female mated, and they did not even know which male mated which females. Yes, I admit that. There were no DNA. The breeders were not officially set up with kennels. You know, kennels were unknown. Dogs were not locked up in kennels. Dogs ran with a horse and they went out into the veld and they worked. Those were ideal dogs. Yes, and what happened if there was a crossbreeding that somehow while the male was away with the boss, another male came into the yard and he crossbred? The moment those puppies were identified as showing any signs of another breed, the whole litter was disqualified. The whole litter was removed from the register. And then the female was used and the male was used, which was alleged to be the father and mother, sire and the dam of this litter, in other breedings. The association simply gave you instruction, this female you now use with this male, and that male you'll use with another female. And then we see if the same thing appeared in any of these litters that were born then, we disqualified that dog. We took him out of the litter because then we know there was crossbreeding in it. So efforts were continuous to remove crossbreeding. When did the whole ethos move from crossbreeding to sanctioned crossbreeding, from against crossbreeding to sanctioned crossbreeding? Basically, when it was reported that this possible potential maybe pit bull cross was in the mix, and the dog was a champion at this stage. Now I just sent a recording made from one of the other black dog breeders who very agitatedly says, but forget about the color of my dog, just start breeding better dogs. Man, the color of your dog is a sign of crossbreeding. The black dogs did not only bring in the color, the dogs that were used to create the color black, they also brought in weirdly shaped heads. They brought in the chocolate color. They brought in the steel blue, the solid blues. They brought in very, very funny shaped eyes that were not typical of a Boer bull. They brought in sloping croups, which were never there, right? Many, many features are not of the Boer bull breed. And let me tell you, if the old breeders were still around and these dogs were presented, they would have not been allowed into the ring, as they do not represent the Boer bull breed. Somehow, the system of aligning the eyes of the appraisers do not work, because I see dogs going through that are not Boer bulls, that do not look like Boer bulls. So let's clean the house inside. Let's be more strict. Let's not be shy to tell somebody, listen, your dog is not a Boer bull. I just came back from Kenya where I praised dogs. What did I find there? 1/3 of the dogs that was presented was not found fit for breeding. Alright? The dogs were excellent. Some of the dogs were excellent, but the dogs lacked substance and they lacked a couple of things that were not good. And the improvement in their dogs are unbelievable. The dog that won, that was the best dog on show, was a locally bred dog. It does not come from South Africa. If you look at the dogs that the American Kennel Club or American Boer Bull Club are showing as their champions, look at them. Excellent examples of true Boer bulls. And you show me the dogs which are national champions in South Africa, and I have to look at it and say, whoa, 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 whoa. Who owes who what? This dog is nowhere close. If I have to stand and appraise this dog, I will pick out so many faults that it might possibly not even make the grade, because it does not look like a Boer bull. Right. I thank you. I thank you for again taking the time to listen to me. And I hope this video just highlights what has been done in the past and what is being done now and where the faults are. The fault does not lie with the Boer bull. The fault lies in the acceptance of crossbreeding as a norm. Crossbreeding as a norm can never be accepted, because the moment you put the one type with the other type, it is a crossbreed by definition. Doesn't matter if you like it, doesn't matter if you create a beautiful dog through your crossbreed, then call it a new breed. Do not call it one of the two breeds which you which you select. You know, if I take a fox terrier and I cross it with an Alsatian, what am I going to call the puppies? Cross breeds or fox terriers or Alsatians? Is it my choice? No, I have no choice, because those puppies are cross breeds. So if I take a Cane Corso and I breed it with a Boer bull, what are the puppies? Not Cane Corsos, not Boer bulls, they are cross breeds. The same principle counts, and you cannot prove me wrong. If you are interested in the identity of the Boer bull breed, go to lulu.com. Lulu.com. I wrote a book on the identity of the Boer bull breed. I did not call it the breed standard. I called it the identity, because every single committee that gets elected choose to have their own breed standard, and they're all deviating from it. So I took all the breed standards, put it together, took science, took whatever we learned about the breed so far, and I wrote a breed identity. Buy that book, read it. It's not light reading. It's not the type of thing you read before you go to sleep. It's 300 plus pages of information on what the true identity of the Boer bull breed is. And I'm not talking just about conformation, temperament, mobility, health, and genetics. Those are the 5 pillars that we should stand on. I thank you, and I will talk to you again soon.